and in 3D. Surprise!
Hey-o.
Just kidding, we are not in 3D.
Well, I didn't think we were until we walked into the theater.
The theater to see what, Mr. Royal?
Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness.
Okay. Oh, man. We are live. 10 seconds into it, and literally everything. Everything. Oh, that's us going.
Everything that's happening now
is happening now. Might as well silence the phone while we were up, too, before we get this started.
That's the crazy part. I did silence my phone. Oh, no, this is somebody on our Patreon.
That was a different version of you.
Doubt it. As long as it's not the version from the Doctor Strange episode, the first one, I'll be fine.
We just got back from seeing Doctor Strange 2. Holy fuck. Holy shit.
Well, I didn't see one version of Christ in there, so you might want to take the holy out of there and just say, oh, shit. Remember, this is spoiler-free.
Yeah, we'll keep it spoiler-free.
No, I'll keep it spoiler-free.
And he'll keep me spoiler-free.
I will do that. I gave you pickle juice, so you better be spoiler-free. I'm taking your spoiler. I mean, where do you want to start at? You want to start?
Well, start with the glasses.
That's where I wanted to start at. So I bought these tickets on Fandango, and about 3 weeks ago, and so it said 2D, and I've been to a lot of 2D movies, and maybe the times have changed, or maybe I
think it's just Doctor Strange.
It could be. We'll see. But well, I guess that's appropriate saying we'll see, because when we walk into the movies, we try to walk straight in while we're trying to sneak in Blue Moon, coffee,
a black magic
camera, not to record, just because we didn't want to leave it in the car. And we get in, and the guy, just some Fast Times at Ridgemont High guy gives us some 3D glasses, and we laugh like, thanks,
We'll
kid.
return these after the episode.
Right. So clearly you see we didn't return them because we had to use them, because joke was on us, was that the movie actually started and you did need these glasses. So I guess this is 2D plus 3D, like 5D.
Yeah, you
bought
bought 2D tickets for sure.
I definitely did.
We definitely saw it through. But I still argue that was a 2D film. That's just as 2D as Doctor Strange can get.
Let me fuck you up. Or was that the third eye?
Oh.
No spoilers.
Yeah. Oh.
Start us off, brother.
Well, a little bit of context for those that have never seen the Shoot channel before. I don't really get into Marvel films. I'm a huge fan of Sam Raimi. I saw the original Spider-Man. I saw the WandaVision. I saw the first Doctor Strange when we covered it in season 2. Check that out. That's as far as my Marvel Universe knowledge goes, and Howard the Duck.
And on the other side here, you have someone that is an extensive encyclopedia of Marvel. Do I know everything? No, but I know everything except the one thing that you know that I don't know. So other than that, I'm pretty reliable when it comes to Marvel. And not just Marvel, I love all films. We're here today to talk about the highly anticipated sequel to Doctor Strange, directed by one Sam Raimi. So let me ask you this. Prior to going into this, and like you said, for full context, you have someone over here who knows everything, someone who basically knows nothing. So going into this really knowing nothing, only seeing WandaVision, maybe one Marvel movie, what was your expectation going in?
Because it was Sam Raimi, I expected, and from knowing the first one, I expected it to be quirkier than the first one, but from the trailer, I was looking forward to the special effects, especially like with the advancements that have been made in special effects since the first one came out, what they were going to do now.
Let me ask you this then, segueing from that, or should I say stand on that point, you saw the trailer, now you've seen the film without giving anything away. Would you say it would, from seeing the trailer, you were, and I'm not trying to pigeonhole you here, did it go consistently with what you saw?
I think it was a perfect trailer to prepare you for what you're getting into and leave a lot to be pleasantly surprised by when it takes, like, sometimes there was a good handful of things that you didn't see coming at all from the trailer that were pleasant surprises. But what was even cooler was there was a lot of things that the trailer kind of set up to make you, at least me, who's a novice to Marvel, it made me think like it was going to go a different way. And then the movie kind of threw a curveball on what the trailer's expectations set, and it was cool curveballs.
I will say this: I was pleasantly surprised. For me, from the trailer to what I saw, put it this way, it surprised me and intrigued me in a good way without giving away anything that happened in the film. Because again, I was really expecting to see what I saw in the trailer. As far as I had heard the rumors and all this other stuff and watched the trailer and expected one film and was like, I'll be satisfied if I just get that. But what I got wasn't what I expected. But at the same time, it really has me intrigued. We'll talk about it later. But I will say this: I was definitely not disappointed.
I was relieved once the like exposition and it kind of set up where this story was going, where this movie was gonna like.
You
exist.
were worried within the first 2 minutes.
I was very worried going into it that I was just going to be like, okay, I'm gonna appreciate the visuals, I'm gonna appreciate the little Sam Raimi jokes.
I'm talking about within the first 5 minutes. I watched you watch the first 5 minutes as I was watching, and you were worried. You were like, if it's gonna be this the whole fucking film, fuck it.
Well, yeah, I just thought like, well, first I thought because the first words spoken are Spanish, and I was like, okay, this wasn't supposed to be a 3D movie. We're watching 3D. It was supposed to be English, but did we end up in the Spanish 3D theater somehow? Cinco de Mayo?
We're here.
So I was relieved when they started speaking English. Like, not that there's anything wrong with speaking Spanish. I just don't. So I prefer the people I'm listening to do. So but I was super relieved that that the story that they set up in this was primarily like, at least for me, it seemed like you had watched WandaVision, had a good idea of who Wanda was to really appreciate the gravity, pun intended, of what's going on here.
We'll get into that later, but
I mean, is that accurate though?
That's accurate, but we'll.
I mean, there were people cheering in the theater at other parts that I had no idea like what the significance was.
You even saw me doing it. You saw me do it a few times. We'll get there. I want to go back. I'm really going off what you said because I think this will play better. Because again, nobody wants to hear how much I know. I think more people land in your camp, which is they don't really know everything. So with what you just said, I want to speak on like the film starting, like you said, with a certain, again, no spoiler alert here. Certain words, the starting in Spanish. See, here's the thing. Do you know that for you to be an atheist, I know you're not familiar with JC, but I'm not talking about Jesus Christ. I'm talking about Jessica Chavez, a.k.a. America. I saw you laugh every time they said America this, America that, because you thought they were talking about America.
No, I knew it. I knew that they were talking about the character because I heard her say that was her name.
Okay.
But I felt like they were being a little.
Oh, they were. They were being a little
tongue-in-cheek.
They were.
Is America going to save us?
Yeah.
What about America?
No, they were, but
and the fact that the first line spoken are Spanish from a person named America.
Right, but it's Jessica Chavez.
Okay, I mean, I don't.
But I'm trying. That's what I'm telling you. So I'm telling you why it was.
Jessica Chavez is a character.
Correct. She's Miss Marvel. She is Miss Marvel.
Wait,
not Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel.
Speaking of Captain Marvel, I thought that was Brie Larson.
That was. This is the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah,
and Monica Rambeau, who played she played the young lady that played Monica Rambeau in Captain Marvel alongside Brie Larson in the Multiverse is Captain Marvel, not Miss Marvel.
But Benedict Cumberbatch is
Benjamin Cumberbatch.
Doctor Strange in every single one of the multiverses, and looks just like that. Why is
that doesn't happen to everybody? Remember, I told
just when it's convenient.
Well, this is your director,
like
Sam
when somebody fucks up.
You'll talk to Sam.
No, he doesn't have anything to do with the casting.
Stan Lee, rest in peace.
He has nothing to do with the casting on the Marvel universe.
Listen, you have to understand it's why do you think when you look inside a kaleidoscope, some of the colors look the same, but they're in different shapes? It's just different.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll say Sam Raimi. This is a good segue. Sam Raimi did have one casting call. And there was a time when I looked at you, so more excited, like as excited as other people got at different parts in the movie. I was excited with the hot dog stand man.
We'll get to
the
that.
Pizza stand man.
We'll get to that.
We're there because
no, save it, please.
No, because that is one of Sam Raimi's casting calls. That is, you get Evil Dead fans out there. You get Bruce Campbell.
Yes.
Being directed by Sam Raimi. And what was so awesome about that scene is that like there were so many Evil Dead callbacks in this movie, and of course, Bruce Campbell's on the screen, and it's no secret. I'm not spoiling anything. Bruce Campbell pops up, and he was in both of the Spider-Mans. I say both because the third one doesn't exist in this universe.
True.
Him and Sam Raimi, like their first films together were Evil Dead 50 years ago, or whatever. And among all the other callbacks in this movie to Evil Dead, it's starting out in the first 5 minutes of it, which we'll get to. But I love that he had Sam Raimi like punching himself, because that was a direct callback to Evil Dead 2 Bruce Campbell because in Evil Dead 2, Bruce Campbell's hand gets possessed and it starts attacking him just like that. And Sam Raimi's always said that Bruce Campbell is the king of the reverse acting, where you have to pull back so the footage could be reversed and it looks.
We should get him on the show sometime.
Oh, I would fucking love to.
Hey, Bruce, if you want to get on, come talk to us.
But it's so cool to see him, and it's been a while since we've seen. Bruce Campbell was in Ash vs. Evil Dead the series, but I think Sam Raimi was just a producer on that. I don't know that it had the feel of it, but it was cool to see Sam Raimi directing Bruce Campbell doing something that was a direct callback to one of the first things they did in such like a huge, like I guarantee
that's a great connection.
90% of the people in the theater, that was their introduction to Bruce Campbell beating the shit out of himself. And
that was one of those 90%.
And you guys need to go and look up the first time it happened. And if you like this movie, I could say you'll like Evil Dead too.
He has no idea what's about to happen, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, no.
And with that being said, so.
Oh, no.
No, it's nothing bad, anything like that. So, again, like I want to lean into right now. So, again, we're not going to discuss anything that wasn't in the trailer. Anything you haven't seen or read online, I'm not going to confirm or deny, but I will say this: as far the movies has a runtime about 2 hours and 4 minutes, and I'll say this: it put it this way, it gives you, it's like a roller coaster ride in my mind, meaning not so much as ups and downs, but it's really exciting all the way through, but it gives you time to breathe every now and then. For me it did.
I was a little bit concerned when I was putting the 3D glasses on, because I remembered watching the first one, and from what I saw in the trailer, I was like, this is going to be intense. Like, I thought, like, I might have to look like a bitch here and take my glasses off during some of these scenes and maybe close my eyes, because it might just be too much. But I like this movie because I don't feel like there was ever a lull. It starts out like a climax, and it never.
But I thought you wouldn't like the beginning, honestly.
Oh, I love the beginning.
No, I'm talking about like the first 2 or 3 minutes. That's what
it took me a few minutes to get used to. I don't know if it was the fact that it was 3D or there was so much CGI, but it took me a little bit to adapt to, like, at first it kind of looked like I was playing a video game, and it looked really, really like. But that ultra realism, it wasn't like something that they did on accident or a mistake. It was within 5 minutes in the movie, I'm like, okay, this is a style. This is something that they're going for.
Which is not easy, by the way. Let's give credit to
the fucking cinematography, especially in 3D. Like,
A plus.
One of the
sometimes when you go in 3D, you can lose it. You can lose it.
Oh, yeah. 3D has come such a long way.
Like Universal Studios in the 80s and 90s, like, hey, I know it's coming at me, but what's all these pixelation? Like, it's none of that.
I would love to, like, I know the basics of shooting a traditional film well, with the bokeh, the sharp focus, but I would love to see somebody like the behind the scenes of making a movie like this and the logistics. Like, specifically, there's a wedding scene, and
careful.
Just when the guy's talking about his dead cats.
Okay, I got you.
And it was like the shots of their faces. They were just so like 3D, of course, they were standing out, but like everything, it was so technical. Like, it was like a painting. Like, everything behind them, it was always telling you exactly where to be looking.
I'll say this, and a lot of Marvel fans and comic book fans will know what I mean when I say this, and disappointed movie fans as well. This movie nailed, without giving anything away, this movie nailed what the New Mutants were trying to do. And what I mean by the New Mutants, there was a movie that came out a few years ago called the New Mutants, and it was supposed to be the first dark superhero film, or be the first horror superhero film. And without giving anything away with this film, I can say two things. Number one, it nailed what that movie was trying to do. And number two, this is the darkest Marvel film out there that exists, and it worked, and it plays.
1 second, sir.
Okay. I've sounded good this entire time.
I forgot to turn the phantom power on. We'll sound better now.
Oh, we sound better now?
Yeah.
Hello, all my ladies out there. Welcome to 2 Minute. Okay, I'm not
okay.
Good. All right.
It got right what the internals got wrong.
Okay, there we go. All right. So with that being, thank you. Oh, fuck now. There you go. Ronnie's going to hate that because he loves the Eternals, but fuck that. So with that being said, again, what this film does do, and I wanted you to speak on. Well, I'm going to speak on. I just want to know your reaction.
I got some notes. I got 4 pages of notes, and they are surprisingly legible.
Well, again, just make sure you don't spoil anything here. But I will say this: if you notice, a lot. See, this is the first Marvel film out there that now other genres can. There's been people out there who've always said, "Oh my goodness, these superhero films are so campy." This, that, and the other. It's always saying this, saying that, and the other. And now this one was allowed the budget, the time, the opportunity to. And again, what do they say? When something's broke, don't fix it. But they literally went for a different genre here. And here's the thing: you have to be responsible with it. Just because it's your first time of being allowed to do it, you can't really go overboard. You got to kind of still have that healthy balance. And they did that.
Yeah. Sam Raimi gets a lot of heat for how his Spider-Man franchise ended, the conclusion to it. Yeah, he gets a lot of heat for that.
True.
But in his defense, like I was telling you on the way there, the first 2 Spider-Mans that he did have like some of the highest Rotten Tomatoes ratings in comparison to the rest of the Spider-Man films, like, with the exception of the last one. Even still, when you think of Sam Raimi and Marvel, it kind of put a bad taste in your mouth, and you're worried about what he might do with it. And it was just so awesome to see him, like, he redeems himself with this film. It was a perfect combination of director and what was happening in this story, and doing kind of like the first. I don't want to say first because I'm not well spoken enough and it'll probably piss people off, but like merging the horror genre and the superhero genre.
Correct.
And they did it in such a flawless way that it kind of happened before your eyes, and it had transitioned before you even realized it.
You were there.
And then, and it was badass. And there couldn't have been a more perfect director to pull that off. Like, because there is campy moments, but it got the campy moments right where Spider-Man got it wrong, where it was self-aware of the times that it was being campy, like almost like it was making fun of itself.
One of the things I love that I want to discuss here, because again, we're not going to discuss anything that wasn't in the film, but I wanted to especially know, how did you feel being an atheist, being someone, and not just, I don't want to just label you as an atheist. You're a thinker. I think that's a better word for me to say. You're a thinker. I want to know how you felt when, out of all the research you've done against the Bible, with the Bible, against just any book, doesn't matter. All the research you've done, you're a free thinker. How did you feel when a Marvel film owned by Disney said, "Welcome to the Illuminati"?
I mean, they've been putting shit like blatantly in our faces. Like, once you start looking at all that, you see it everywhere. So that's just par for the course. It is kind of like telling. I don't know what it's telling, but it's telling that it seems to be just like so obvious now, like not even hidden within a metaphor or an anagram or something. It's just like, hey, the Illuminati. I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, I just kind of got used to the fact that there's a zeitgeist and we're at the bottom of it, but that's not what we're here to talk about.
But no, we are, because it's in the film. Remember, this show will never discuss anything that the film does not bring up. So we have to be true to it. And that's why I'm asking you, because it relates to the host of the show being you, your personal feelings, versus a company such as Disney now owning Marvel. Like you just say, if Disney's saying it, damn, it's really jumped the shark is what I'm like. So that's why I was asking you.
I was more surprised that they dropped the goddamn.
Oh, you seen E.T. They said shit.
Yeah, but shit isn't according to their beliefs, taking anybody's name in vain.
Gotcha. Okay, so here's the thing I do want to.
But about the Illuminati, that while we're on the Illuminati,
you just said you didn't want to talk about the Illuminati.
Well, we are. So what I was telling you, the cameo, and I won't say who it is.
Yes.
But I did say that I didn't dig it. Homie didn't play that.
Tell me why, and without spoiling it, tell me why.
I liked the person that the cameo was.
Okay.
And there wasn't anything against how they
portrayed
he couldn't have done anything differently, or she.
So what was the problem?
It was just, there was something about it that was just too distracting. It took me out of the world that they created.
So what you're saying is, and this is no fairness, this is nothing against that person. I like to call it the Steve Urkel problem.
All of a sudden, I was back on Instagram on Planet Earth. And when the whole audience cheered, I'm like, oh, okay.
I'm going to tell you why that is, though, without giving anything away. I'm going to tell you 2 reasons why that is. Number one is the Steve Urkel syndrome, meaning once you're that famous and popular, you've been typecast as only that character. Like people always see you.
Okay, so this person has played that character in the past.
No, they have not. However, but I'm with you. They've been rumored to play this character. No, hear me. No, hear me.
This will never be more relevant to say than right now. I request elaboration.
I got you, and I have a perfect answer for you. This person has been rumored to play that person for the last 4 or 5 years. So when we saw what we saw, it was like, for you, it was like, okay, you took me to another world, and I feel you with that, because like you're looking at everybody else saying, hey, okay, I can see you as anybody, and you see this person like, hey, you're such and such. Why are you here with these people? And so I feel you on that. The only reason why I'm saying it has context is because he was accepted by the community, if it was the Adobe community, years ago, and it's been rumored, or she was accepted.
I understand that from Instagram, but even like knowing that and understanding their decision to do that and why people would be happy that they did, I'm just saying from strictly, I don't care who this person is. Like, I'm strictly talking about, I'm trying to watch the characters and in this story that they're creating, and now I'm like,
well, I will tell you this. Here's the one redeeming factor.
I will say, I am not talking about Patrick Stewart.
Okay. Well, they already know about him, or the guy that we interviewed. Whichever one could be one of them.
Yes.
So, but no, I will say this. The one redeeming factor is because now that character's been
Sir Patrick Stewart.
Sir Patrick Stewart. Well, thank you.
Why did people laugh? Why did people laugh at Sir Patrick Stewart when they cut to him inside the dream world?
Oh no, because you didn't hear what the guy's thinking.
No, I didn't.
There's a guy right next to me, and I don't know. I don't care what. This is the one time I'm pretty sure he was black, but what he said was funny enough that I didn't care who said it. The shit was funny. He was like, once Professor X does, fuck it. All right, this is fuck a spoiler.
Okay, a little bit of spoiler.
A little bit. So it's really not a spoiler because we've seen him do it before. Once Professor X walks in this film, there's a black dude sitting maybe 7 feet to my right. He says, "Oh, I know this nigga ain't walking now." And then that's when everybody lost. I guess you couldn't hear it, but that shit was funny.
They were laughing at his 2x4 like figure.
Oh, he was in shape.
He was like a plank.
Like he was doing something in Studio 83. I don't give a fuck. Hey, when that dude said, "Listen, I'm all
that man," he makes me look like I have an ass.
That's America's ass. Well, listen, everybody knows I'm against talking. I don't even like to hear fucking air or people breathing in the film.
Man, but how about the couple in front of us? How many times are you going to go refill your popcorn?
Well,
I gave them a little bit of slack once I realized that there was a child sitting in between.
I didn't even see the fucking child because they were squeezing the child. They were like, they didn't need any more popcorn.
No,
I didn't see that child until the movie was over.
The woman got up. Like
6 seconds before the film started. She said through all the previews, all the animations, all the everything. Like, "Hun, you want some popcorn?"
She's obviously there to babysit the kid while the husband enjoys.
What kid? That's what I keep telling. I didn't see the kid until the end credit scenes. You were gone when I saw the kid. That kid got up. He was looking like,
because he said the dad was sitting there and the mom got up and went and got popcorn. She comes back as soon as she got back. The kid's like, "I have to go bathroom," and she's like, brings him to the bathroom. Like, okay, apparently this is the dad's watching this.
Here's crazy. I want to know what movie he saw, because you're squished in between two people who don't take care. You know, that's a subject for another day. Now, with that being said, again, as we continue on about this film, we've talked about the cinematography. We've talked about certain cameos that in the film. The one thing I would say is also about the film is that I am so happy that they were responsible enough, even though it's called the Multiverse of Madness, without giving this away, they didn't get super irresponsible with it. Like, Jesus Christ didn't float down on a cloud and be like, "You need me to defeat Thanos." Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like the devil show up, Poseidon coming in, "I am water man." Like, they didn't, you know.
I think the most far stretch they got was the cartoon. Well, they turned into a cartoon for a second.
Well, I guess that's not really a spoiler.
Yeah. So when they're slipping through the different multiverses,
slipping through time.
They're a cartoon for a moment, and I thought it was cool. It looked like the animation was in the style of Into the Spider-Verse.
I thought I was going when I read the things about the film before the film, and I usually stop like 60 days.
Hold on, correct me if I'm wrong. Was that cartoon style in the style of Into the Spider-Verse?
It's not just the Spider-Verse, but because the Spider-Verse is the multiverse.
No, but I'm saying that the Miles Spider-Man.
Oh, Miles Morales, yes.
Wasn't that Into the Spider-Verse?
Yes, that is. Yes.
That was the same style of animation. Were
Correct,
they trying to do like a hint there that
well, it's
Doctor
not
Strange,
a hint. I'm saying they're the same.
I understand, but
when he turned anime, wherever he was at that point in time is where Miles Morales exists.
Okay. It was cool either way.
I just lost you again. So
Yeah,
with that being
yeah.
said, one thing I will say about this film for all my hardcore fans out there, I was so pissed off. Not pissed off. I didn't really want Jessica Chavez or Miss Marvel or whatever to be in the film because of the fact that, not that I didn't want a female in the film, I just didn't. I felt like if she was such a powerful and important character, why introduce her in a film like this? And I felt like they were just trying to do it. So I will say this: while we know she is in the film, I'm happy yet again that they were responsible with how they used her.
Well, in the last Spider-Man, wasn't Doctor Strange kind of like a mentor to the younger Spidey kids?
No, he was like Uncle Rico.
But he was the adult in the room, right? That like. I'm just saying they established
he was the fifth year
that
senior
dynamic.
coming back to take the
He
sophomore
kind of
to
took
prom.
Iron Man's place as far as being.
No, can't say that. No.
Well, okay. Well, I thought that they were like, okay, that dynamic worked in Spider-Man. Let's give him a.
No, that would have been Quentin Beck. That would have been Quentin Beck, and even you said he looked like Iron Man in that film when Tobey Maguire, not Andrew Garfield, Peter 1, not Peter 2 or Peter 3, Tom Holland. He's when he's in the bar and he looks at Tony Stark, when he looks at Mysterio with the Edith glasses on, even you said, like, man, he looks like Tony Stark right there.
I don't remember that.
Quentin Beck.
I don't remember that. I'm not saying it's a lie. I'm just saying I don't recall. The first 5 minutes were when they're in that.
Is anybody watching us right now? Can you see?
No, I can't.
I just would like to. Where's my phone? I want to. Somebody. I got. I'm sorry. I want to know who's watching us. Like there has to be something.
It looks like 6 people has tuned in. I don't know what concurrent means. I don't think anybody is viewing at this moment.
Well, I want to find out now before you can say anything else. I have to know. We put in a lot of work on this show. I must know. Give me.
Well, it'll go up public once we're done.
I know, but like
And
everything that's happening now, I just feel like
because I'm not cutting it.
I don't want you to cut it. I want to know now is anybody watching us? I have to know. Like, is anybody commenting?
I got the live chat up there so I can see if any comments come in.
Well, that's what you could have stopped me earlier then. So nothing's happening.
No, I've no comments have come in yet. When they're in that place between the universes in the very beginning, when the other Doctor Strange is running with America and they're fighting that.
Remember I said no spoilers?
Yeah, that's not.
Remember in the beginning when he's running with, like, now they know the first 5 minutes of the film. Easy.
Well, I thought the first 5 minutes would be safe.
No, it's not online.
Well, there's
the opening sequence.
America gets picked up by the multi-tentacled creature, and that was another badass Evil Dead 2 callback. Because in Evil Dead 2, the damsel in distress is running through the woods being chased by the evil. And it possesses the trees, and all the limbs of the trees grab all of her extremities and pull her up in the air, just like America got hoisted up. So
I go back and watch that.
Right off the bat,
Is
they
this
let you
Shaun?
know.
Is this Shaun in Evil Dead, or am I thinking about something different?
No, that's not Shaun of the Dead. This is
okay.
like 1979, 1980.
The original one.
Evil
Dead. I got you. Okay.
Yeah. And then I was cracking up at that octopus creature. The fact that he's like this ultra powerful monster from another realm, but he still resorts to picking up a motorcycle and just hurling it at the cape.
No, you can use that. That's fine.
What does he call it though?
It's cloak.
Cloak, yeah. Like the fact that a big ass monster
It's sitting right here. You're gonna disrespect it. It's literally right here.
picks something up and throws it like that. That was funny as shit. And then when the eye pops out of the octopus's mouth, that was.
Remember I was talking about no spoilers?
That's not a spoiler. That's
so,
just
but
just
now
a
when they
vague.
see the octopus character and the eye pops out, they're gonna be like, "Oh, Durden told me."
Yeah, so the eye pops out. I'm not saying what happened. I'm just saying that it was a very
when
Sam
you were a
Raimi
stud
moment.
muffin back in college, you used to tell the girls that you're about to come 6 minutes before it happened. Like, what's with the spoilers here? Gator don't take no shit.
Our gauge for what is spoiling something is very different. I guess.
I know how sensitive it is.
Okay, this isn't okay. Yeah, I'll give you that. You probably are more prone to understanding that. Who said? All right, so I have experience-Spider-Man Rami, and there was. Okay, yeah, when they're sitting in the cafe with America right after they meet her, and she's asking about their universe or whatever, and he's explaining like, yeah, well, we have Spider-Mans, which I've had experience with Spider-Man. I was like, that's like Sam Raimi telling the audience exactly what his
that
was
like
like
autobiographical.
autobiographical
Callback. That was a beautiful callback. Very fucking beautiful. I'll give you that.
Hey, it's ancient custom.
Oh, the bow.
Yeah.
That went along with what you said. Remember you leaned over me, you'd be like, Enter the Dragon?
Mm-hmm. That was a nice callback.
Very nice callback.
I like the fact that like because they were merging the horror genre with this. Did you notice like that traditional piano slam, doom, mostly every time Scarlet Witch would be seen, but then there was the one time they were self-aware where Doctor Strange actually hits the piano and it makes the sound, which ended up being one of the coolest fight sequences that I've ever
seen or heard.
It was so unique.
That's what
it was. And is there something about that I don't know? Like,
no, there's no. That was just a unique experience for
happened.
me. And that was genuinely. If you were not a Marvel fan and just a fan of film, you could just appreciate that scene without knowing any context about Marvel.
Is it a spoiler for you to say just what it is?
I would have. It's a spoiler.
Okay.
I mean, it's a spoiler to lovers of film.
But I thought that was really cool. They incorporated that traditional
Here's the thing.
piano.
I want to ask you about this. I'll lean to your expertise on this because, again, you talk about them leaning into the horror genre. Here's the thing. There were times where I saw, like, again, like if somebody would ask me to give this an elevator pitch in 10 seconds, I would really say Marvel meets Walking Dead meets Pet Sematary meets Twilight Zone.
Marvel meets Raimi. That's
the best way to put it?
Yeah. You noticed like the jump scares, like there were a few like when she jumps at them in the sewer, and then there's the moment when she comes at them when the kids are there.
Easy what kids? Easy boy,
when the kids in New York.
See, everybody didn't watch the WandaVision.
I'm not talking about WandaVision.
You are though.
I'm not.
You are.
I'm not.
Let me help you out.
I'm not.
You're not.
I'm not.
You're not. Okay,
you're talking about some random bystander.
Okay, let me help you out real quick. So this is a perfect segue. This is why
now somebody's watching.
What? I wonder who. I will say this: the reason this is the first accomplishment of Marvel to say the system has now changed, and what I mean by that is before this film, you really didn't have to watch Disney Plus film TV series. You didn't have to watch all the Marvel films, but now this is the first film to where normally just watching a sequel to something raises 20 or 30 questions. If you haven't been, let's say you watched maybe 3 out of the Marvel films and you watched this, you would feel like you had dementia mixed with epilepsy mixed with another dementia 2 variant. So what I'm saying is that I know they were successful in doing this, but if you don't got enough time on your hands to watch the TV shows, the films, and all this other stuff, you can't truly appreciate it.
Yeah, I like that the story was kind of I could see when it was making references to things that I might not know about.
The WandaVision. Now talk about that for me. Don't share everything, but did you see the connection?
Oh yeah, I was. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was really happy that most of the story kind of revolved around things that seemed like you knew from WandaVision or things that were set up in WandaVision, and those two seemed to be like connected more than anything else. But I don't know about the other connections. I didn't see them, but I will say that you don't like. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Not only knowing those things, like it is self-contained enough to where you can just go into it and enjoy it for what it is, because it has its own start and finish, a little cliffhanger. Like it's got all that, and it's got like when the robots are running out of the place first, that fucking blew my mind. So I'm like, okay, the artificial intelligence has said we are ducking and running.
I haven't seen robots move like that since iRobot.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it reminded me of.
They can't even die and they're fleeing.
But
what
I
are
will
we
say
still
there's
doing
the connection
here?
between that. If you didn't know it, there's a little James Spader connection there.
Are you going like Stargate or something?
I'm going to steal Marvel. He's the voice of Ultron. Those symbiotes were basically, that's why they kept just saying, Ultron must say, like they kept saying that when she destroyed, like that was the greatest callback. But damn it, I can't spoil this. But point being is, at some point, one of the heads of the robots get crushed, but they're all still saying we must follow Ultron or something like that. And whoever crushes that head gets some payback.
Check.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2.
That was a fucking bloodbath.
Yeah.
I won't say anything more than that, but that was a bloodbath.
I'm grabbing a blue moon. Keep them entertained.
All right, Evil Dead fans out there. So there was I I will just say if you love Sam Raimi, if you love Evil Dead 2, even if you've never seen anything Marvel, you should see this movie just because it's like Sam Raimi doing what he does great on no budget. He has like all the money in the world and talent in the world to play with it for this.
We're doing the review of the film. You want me to just literally leave YouTube right now and do?
Taking a call from his daughter.
Please come out here while we're doing this. I can't come in there. Come out here, please.
Taking a call from his daughter is apparently in the same premises.
Just come out here while we're doing this, please. Love you. My daughter just hung up on me. I think she's still upset I didn't get her a ticket to the film.
It was a packed house.
It wasn't, though. That's what was weird, though. Like, we'll talk about that. Hello. So, where are we going now?
I'm still on Sam Raimi because I thought it was awesome that, he's a director and he killed it. He does amazing work with no money. It was just so cool to see him do what he does, his signature all over it with such a large budget and all the talent of Disney and Marvel to play with at his fingertips.
I'll say this, though. There were a lot of signature Sam Raimi visuals. I'll definitely say he had that. The
Deadite, the zombie, when you get the zombie version, which you see in the trailer.
But you look that you don't.
Huh?
They don't know what that is.
Okay, well, sorry, but that was clearly and
that's
like
evil Doctor Strange.
The Evil Dead voices that are coming out of him, like the spirits that are flying around. Those voices were just straight up right from the what the dead sound like, the undead sound like in Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. That's what's really cool to me is that even when he has all this money to play with, you could still see where he went back and did things practically as if he had $20,000 in the budget.
A lot of people out there have been justice. They call it JFW hashtag JFW.
I'm sorry. While I spoiled the zombie dude,
yes.
Zombie Strange. This is badass. So this is the last connection that I'll do for Sam Raimi.
America, I'll cut him off if he tries to spoil something. Go ahead.
Sam Raimi's first film was Evil Dead. This one, the alternate title could be called Good Dead. The fact that okay, I'll just stop. But you appreciate that,
I do
right?
appreciate what you said.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's funny you say that because I was going to kind of mention that in the reverse earlier because I remember me and you talking about something and you won't be able to find the footage. I don't know if we filmed it or we were just talking. You were like, I'm going to be so upset if it's somebody versus somebody and somebody versus somebody. I don't want to see that. I'd rather see something else. And while we didn't know what that something else was, I would think that the best way to put it is we did see something else.
Yeah, come to think of it, I don't know who the somebody versus somebody was.
No, you said you didn't want to see a cookie cutter. Like when you asked me what I thought was going to happen. Jayla? Officer Turner? From the South Side, sorry. So, but yeah, we saw that one of the things I wanted to bring up, there has been a movement out there, hashtag JFW, Justice for Wong. What did you think about the character Wong?
Oh, 30 minutes into it, if we were doing scene stealers, I was ready to call him the scene stealer.
Why?
Just because he was so... He's just really good, and I saw a growth in his character from the first one to this one. I don't know if it's
he's
him
been in a
being
few
a
films
better
in between,
actor or if they're just giving him more material. But he was. I liked him in the first one, and I liked seeing him get more play and a little bit more dimension to his character in this one, and the fact that he's the boss, but the dynamic has already been established between him and Doctor Strange, so. Doctor Strange still kind of calls the shots.
Well, that's the beautiful part about it, and that's why I say Marvel's done such a beautiful job in connecting films, because if you didn't watch Avengers Endgame, put it this way, the connection that made that whole what you just said, that connection between both of them is built with, I would say, within 5 seconds of actual film time. And the reason why I say that is this. When you watch the first Doctor Strange, when we watch, you hear the source, or you hear the one.
You want to fix that before you finish, because it's just, you can't hear it, but it's, I'm sure, in the sound.
Thank you. When we watch the first Doctor Strange, you hear Tilda Swinton say to Doctor Strange that he's meant to be the best of them. Or I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. She says that to Bruce Banner in Avengers Endgame. She said Stephen Strange was meant to be the best of us, meaning he was meant to be the Sorcerer Supreme. Now, that line is like 2 or 3 seconds. If you notice, if you notice that Stephen Strange gets blipped at the end of Avengers Endgame. I mean, he's gone for 5 years. But in the movie, the last Spider-Man, No Way Home, they show you there's a scene between Wong and Doctor Strange for like 6 seconds. And because Spider-Man says, Tom Holland says to Stephen Strange, he's like, wait a minute, I thought you were the Sorcerer Supreme. He was like, technically I'm supposed to be, but I got blipped for 5 years. And Wong was like, it doesn't matter. I'm the Sorcerer Supreme now. So that whole narrative about who was the Sorcerer Supreme in this film was paid off.
That's why he doesn't really, he respects the fact,
and that's why he started, so people,
so that makes the ending, that and that's what's cool is that the ending was good on its own without me knowing that.
Fair.
Because they contained that narrative just enough within the
That's
story
good
that
writing.
you're watching.
Good jokes play well. Like you always want to say, if no one has ever seen this, will they still laugh?
Yeah, they gave it to you like 2 or 3 times, a little callbacks to that before the payoff at the end.
Yes.
I will say that I thought it was funny that I can't remember what part. Oh, who's the superhero with the UK or Britain on the shield?
I'm glad you bring that up.
Because I heard you laugh or like get real excited at a part where she first says something to Wanda or
I got
Scarlet
excited
Witch.
for multiple reasons. Number one, if you're just
but it was a particular line she said, like it was a
oh
callback
yeah,
to something.
oh I'll get to that, and
Okay.
I'll do this very fast. I got excited about that for multiple reasons. Number one, if you're a fan of comic books, then not Captain America, but Captain Britain was basically there's a version of that character that's played by Peggy Carter. Now that's always been in the comic books, but they've only hinted it in the actual film world of the Marvel MCU. So the first time they really actually got to play with it when it was in the episode of Disney's What If. They introduced like everything they had been teasing in comic books for years. They introduced the cartoon version of her in Marvel's What If, Peggy Carter. Then it got even better because the actress that actually plays Peggy Carter in the actual Marvel, hello, what the? We are filming. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to win a film fucking Oscar here. Now, the actor that actually plays Peggy Carter in the Captain America films, they allow her to play the Captain Britain character in this film. But what's beautiful about it is we didn't even they first teased the transformation in Marvel's What If, the cartoon version. She becomes Captain America / Captain Britain instead of Steve Rogers. So the same character that played Peggy Carter in all the Captain America films.
See, that's where Marvel loses.
No fucking way.
Because you're telling me that, I mean, you don't have to watch all these things, but you can appreciate it more if you took the time to watch all these episodes that were about hypothetical
No, not episodes,
scenarios.
the movies.
I'm talking about What If.
What If she was only there in 2 episodes.
Yeah, but you would have had to watch the whole series.
You could have been a fan of
episodes.
comic books and like, oh, they finally did it. Or you could have been a fan of the film and like they finally did it. But if you're a fan of the film, the comic books, and the cartoon, you just blew your fucking wad. And the line you're talking about is when she gets messed up. And I don't give a fuck if this is a spoiler alert. It's a great fucking spoiler. Drink some milk, kids. It's good for your bones. That's what he lied and told us. She says, I can do this all day. That's a line from Steve fucking Rogers. He says it in every Captain America. I can do this all day.
Okay.
And it's in the Marvel TV series, Hawkeye. I can do this all day. New rock stars.
Now, are all those characters, are all those characters that are introduced in the Illuminati, are those existing characters in Marvel Comics? They didn't just create them for the movie?
Yes, they exist in the multiverse. First off, we already know Professor X exists.
Who's Forkhead?
That wasn't Fork. I was trying to tell you that was Thunderbolt.
Okay, but he had a fork on his head.
He did.
Which I thought it was funny about that. Fuck, I can't say it. Fuck.
Oh no,
I'll just whisper.
No.
The fact that he can't talk or it kills people.
Oh no, that's been online. They know.
But he's literally with the dude that made A Quiet Place.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not there you go. Now that was your best connection.
Yeah.
Now that was your best connection. There you go. I like that. So no, that was actually very
he would
fucking
have
good.
killed in that.
Yes, he killed in this.
Yeah. Well, with those things that already have ultra sensitive ears.
Yeah. Now, one thing I do want to say is that here's the crazy part about it. Now, if you notice, they showed this in the trailer, and I don't know if you noticed it, one of the Illuminati seats was still missing on the very far end. Even when Professor X
Maybe
came
that's
in,
where X sat before he had to go to the chair.
this nigga walking. That's what the dude sitting next to me said.
All right, that was funny, but the other connection that
No, this is funny.
yeah,
That's been sitting in that cup for 35 minutes. What the hell's going on?
I don't know. I'm just trying to keep it away from the carpet and the wires.
I'm really confused. I literally said that there like 10 minutes ago.
I tried.
Oh, you've been shaking your leg.
Shaking anything.
Why are you leaning down to drink it?
I'm just gonna set it right there and let it do its thing, and I'll get a towel afterwards. No,
This
officer,
episode
I
is brought to
haven't-
you by Blue Moon.
Haven't been drinking.
I have.
America.
Chavez.
Yeah, she was good.
She was actually good. Like I could see her playing in different roles. Like I really thought I was going to hate her and I didn't. I'll definitely say that. So she definitely played a really good role. As far as the pacing of the film, how you feel?
The pacing was amazing because it never, like I said, the whole thing. Movies are insane now because I feel like this isn't like unique to this film. Like especially in the Marvel films, it seems like they just.
Low.
They're just like a 2.5 hour climax. Like the way most action films that we grew up on in the 80s, 90s, it's like slow burn, build up, you get an action scene, he comes home, he fucks somebody, a little bit more action, a little bit less exposition, and then, they save the budget on the fireworks in the last 15 minutes. Marvel just seems like they blow their load for 2.5 hours straight on every movie. Like it comes out the gates and it might like come down for 5 minutes or so here or there to get some information. But even then, shit is happening so rapidly. Like the camera movement is still very like immersive and has you in it. Like it feels like even though they're just talking about stuff, the editing and the cinematography still makes you feel like you're still not off the roller coaster. You're just kind of on an incline.
I don't know if it's fair or not, but I think I would be remiss if I didn't bring up the fact now because I don't want to just roll over this and just pretend. We're in an era that I think we need to appreciate. I don't know if I put it this way. I don't know what side of the aisle I land on, but just like something like people using typewriter or writing script or like the world changing. We're now in a world where we have to judge like FV, not TV or film, like FV. It's like a film or FV, like it's a combination. Like you literally now have people who like love TV or people who are TV critics and movie critics all now having to be critics based off of things that are connected. Because I'm thinking about it from one perspective of from just a film buff saying, hey, hey, and I love TV as well, but I'm more of a film buff than a TV buff. So I'm looking at it like, how does this TV program tie into my movie? But there's a flip side to that coin. There's these TV buffs out here saying, I got to watch this movie now to continue to watch this show that I love. Like we're in a narrative we've never really been in before.
Yeah.
What is your, like, just speak to that, not just even Marvel. Just if anybody had did that, they're now saying the new standard is if you don't watch this show, you can't connect with this film and vice versa.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles kind of toyed with that concept of, I think, starting with a comic and then going to a film, then the cartoon continued from the film, and then they had to make they had to like change the direction that they approached the second film to, but I don't think they did it successfully. Like this is the first time where it seems like the audience is for majority of the audience is on board with everything, and I don't understand how adults that have functioning lives also have the time to keep up with all of this content.
There's only one way it's feasible. There's only one way. Think about the kid now that's growing up. You have 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds who know how to use smartphones and can maneuver them, and 70-year-olds can't. It's just the world you were born into. We were born into a world that was ending on comic books, starting with cartoons, then went to fucked up TV shows made for TV, then went to fucked up movies, and now they refine the movies. We're the kids that grew up, and all the people that were dope like we are to make stuff are now making the films, and so we're the ones that can now afford to go see stuff. So this is the result of that.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like how far are they going to take it? In 25 years, is there going to be a Star Wars, Marvel, DC mashup?
Because you've heard me say this. As much as I love these films, they have to be careful with what they're doing. I waited 20 or 30 years. I never thought I'd see half the stuff I've seen, not even 10% of it. So my point is, now that I am getting it, it's just like coffee. Don't throw it down my throat. Let it breathe a little bit. And yes, it took 11 movies and all this stuff to get, but here's the thing. You now guaranteed know every year there's 3 to 4 to 5 superheroes films going to come out. When we were 10, 11, or 12, there was maybe one every 5 years. So they have to be careful with this, but it's still not lose the audience, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because there's so much going on, and they it's like a really careful balance between fan service and jumping the shark and giving too much, just like ruining the story.
Too much was Eternals. I know you didn't see it, but
that's what I was gonna ask. Has Marvel's jumped the shark before?
Yeah, it was with Eternals. It was one thing to make a mistake like the first Hulk, with yes, him.
Edward Norton.
No, not him. No, before
Edward Norton was the first.
No, he was the second. Well, he's the third. The second film one, third Hulk. You had Lou Ferrigno, the TV guy, who was awesome, but Eric Bana played the first one.
Bill Bixby really was.
Very good. Look at you.
And that's my favorite Hulk.
Okay,
because that's jumping the shark to me.
But but we're talking about the same guy. Bill Bixby played the character. Lou Ferrigno was the Hulk.
Yeah, I'm saying, but that Hulk was
the best one.
After that one, I didn't like the fact that he could just kind of throw on a cape like every other superhero. I liked in the TV series.
Metamorphosis.
It was something he resented. He didn't want it to happen.
He was more so like a mutant than a fucking.
Yeah, he was an affliction.
Yeah, there you go. So my point is, and this isn't just to like the superhero films or anything to do with Marvel. Any genre. Think about it. When we first saw, I think Michael Myers is the perfect blend to me of when you're talking about horror, of the human being versus supernatural. Like, yeah, you never really see him die, but he's not over the top strong. Yeah, he survives a lot of stuff, but he's not flying around. He's not like to me, it's just. Like you have to have a perfect blend of these things. If not, and that's what I'm trying to. I'm really hoping they slow down on these superhero films, because it's almost like I know how the studios are looking at it.
Yeah, that's perfect, because like I put Nightmare on Elm Street, like I was saying on the way there, that's one of the franchises that gets better the worse it gets, and I think Nightmare on Elm Street is a good. Oddly enough, it's a good comparison to make to explain Doctor Strange or the Marvel Universe, because if you set up something that is like, if you set up the scenario well enough, you can suspend disbelief as much as you want to. Nightmare on Elm Street, he's the first killer, like a slasher killer, that makes sense because he exists in a dream world, so he really can't die. He can keep coming back.
Is he a dream walker?
He can distort reality. Marvel kind of did the same thing with.
You're missing me.
I hear you. I understand. I got the connection. I just didn't want to
spoil. Gotcha.
But Marvel kind of set up the same thing with the multiverse. Now it like setting up that scenario gives them the possibility of like an infinite playground, and that takes a lot of responsibility, because they could easily go Nightmare on Elm Street 5, Freddy's Dead, and just throw the whole thing out the window, which I love Nightmare on Elm Street 5 because it was the most terrible one, but that's what they were going for. Marvel, like, they could easily, with the freedom that they've afforded themselves with this scenario that they set up with the multiverse, and I just don't know how I like the fact that they established a multiverse so they can play with all of the different versions of like characters and different comics and shit like that, and make it all make sense under the same umbrella. I respect it from that angle, but from a like storytelling perspective,
it's lazy.
It just feels like it takes the stakes away from any scenario. It's like, oh, okay, well, Doctor Strange is dying here, but and there was just a bloodbath of like 7 superheroes.
Or maybe we go to Earth 42. There's still
there's no emotional, because
you.
I'm not losing those characters. They're still in 700 other places. So afforded themselves the ability to do anything at the expense of us really not feeling too much about it.
But you should appreciate this more than I mean, you're a filmmaker, but you're more so than a filmmaker. You're a writer. You should appreciate this. There are people that are dead now that wrote these stories that have kids that, yeah, they appreciate these stories. And don't get me wrong, you can be inspired by people, but you shouldn't trample on what they put out there. Like some of these multiverses should exist in someone's mind. Everything isn't meant to be on film. Some things are meant to be books. Some things can be audio books. And there's different narratives of art.
Yeah. And yeah, I do, from a writer's perspective, I think it's a brilliant idea to, like, if you want to have, I hated growing up, like, all right, what Batman is this? Like, and then I have to start all over again. And with this, the multiverse, it's like we can connect everything with just this one simple explanation. That is so simple and effective and brilliant. And in their defense, it's at the expense of, like, taking away some of the emotional weight of the characters that we have with the characters. But that's not really what these movies are going for. They are like popcorn flicks. They're smart and they're well thought out, but they're not looking for emotional longevity with, like, you feeling something because something happened to somebody. It's more about here. Like, in the moment.
I want to be very clear here, and I hope the right person sees this when I say this and understands what I'm saying. I love what Marvel did with the first Iron Man, and I feel we've gotten so far away from that. But I will say this: there will be no Iron Man without 2 movies happening prior to that, in my opinion. And people can say I'm biased, but I don't care.
Howard the Duck.
Not even Howard the Duck, and I love Howard the Duck. Spawn, Michael Jai White, and also Blade with Wesley Snipes. Those movies came out in a time where no one wanted to see superhero movies. But I would argue with you that the effects from Spawn and the acting that he did and how that was put together, and also with that first Blade stands up with the first Iron Man. I'm sorry.
I mean, Spawn changed the dynamic of how superhero comics could translate into like film and be for adults.
True,
and
very
be
true.
Dark.
We're still, and you know what's King Connections? We just finished our last full episode.
Which, shout out to Todd McFarlane, because he fought tooth and nail. Like, he started at Marvel doing Spider-Man. Like he pretty much revived Spider-Man.
True, for the screen, for the big screen,
for the comics. Back in the day, Spider-Man was just like no interest in Spider-Man. Nobody wanted him. So Todd McFarlane, new artist.
The cartoon or the comic book?
The Todd McFarlane.
Yeah.
The comic book artist,
the
director and writer and creator of Spawn.
Okay.
He goes into Marvel. He's nobody. He's like, I need to make waves. I'm gonna take a character that nobody cares about and revive them. He did that with Spider-Man, and Spider-Man comics started, like, selling off the shelves. So then they gave him his own, like, what do you want to do? And he did Spawn. But that, like, he's been innovating. Like, if credit is gonna be given to, like, innovating both comics and what happens on the screen. Like, most of that stuff the ball wouldn't have started rolling without Todd McFarlane.
I can agree with that. I mean, and we can still say rest in peace Stan Lee, and I always forget my other guy's name, and I feel really disrespectful now because he's the guy that's the story from the other day is getting it also Jack Kirby. Yeah, there you go. There you go. So with that being said, the reason why I bring this up is to say that they have to be careful with this, because, again, I may love these superhero films and all this other stuff, but I love film at the end of the day. And what they're doing now is super dangerous. And when you ask me again about jumping the sharks, the Eternals is exactly that. As much as with all that firepower acting wise they had in that film, the problem was you thought that people loved Marvel so much that you could introduce all these. Like, I'm a hardcore blurred. I didn't know shit about the Eternals. And I was just like, okay, I'll still give it a chance. And they thought what they could do was put this film out there and say, I know you don't know any of these characters, but you love Marvel so much that this should fly. And when I sit there and watch that movie, and I've watched it at least 7 or 8 times now, and don't get me wrong, every time I watch it, I get a little bit more appreciation for it, but it's like 1% loading, 2% loading. It's never that. It wasn't it's not better than what we just saw. It's not better than Spider-Man. I dare tell you it's not better than the first Spider-Man that you talk about, directed by Sam Raimi. It is not.
I could easily agree with that.
And you didn't even watch it.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's go a little bit further here because I want to make sure everybody's still. If you're just tuning in now, we are still discussing here Doctor Strange 2, directed by the Sam Raimi. And again, I'll say this: I was young in my film career. I was just an actor when I started judging Sam Raimi for what he did, as far as blaming him for everything. But now that I've gotten into film, I've made films.
Yeah, see, I grew up on him, so when I saw what went awry with Spider-Man, I was like, that's got to be studio interference.
And for our uninitiated out there, what is studio interference?
That's when the people in the suits that wanted to tell people that they make movies, but they never actually made a movie, they meddle in the director, the writer's vision of actually creating the movie, and it usually it's informed by what they think the audience wants, which is usually wrong because real artists change what the audience wants. That they're thinking about getting the PG-13 rating so more asses can be in the seats, like, shit like that.
Well, that is studio interference here. So let me ask you this here, without spoiling any of the movie. Let me ask you this: who would, if you could change one thing about this film, what would you change? And if you, I swear to God, I am going to throw it.
I loved the ending.
Okay,
the ending was beautiful.
Okay.
But it's what I would change. I would change two things. One is the multiverse thing. Just like just the fact that it feels like a cop out as far as being no real stakes in it.
Like lazy writing.
As exciting as all the fights are, it's just like it's like watching Jesus fight Jesus. It's like there's no winner or loser here. They can both come back to life. So that is the one thing I would change. And the other thing is a comparison to the first one. This movie the first one was awesome. It was fun. This one is awesome and it's fun. But the first one had something that this one lacked.
It was grounded.
It was emotionally grounded, and there was like a really cool character arc in Doctor Strange, and there were as big and climactic and fireworky as the whole movie and the ending was, there was also this undertone of like he ended up defeating the dude at the end of the first one with his intellect. And this one seemed like more of just a have a good time popcorn flick, roller coaster ride.
I can agree with that.
Even with that said, though, like I like them both. I would say that they're like, as far as sequels go, you usually don't expect as much from the second one.
Oh yeah,
but this one, like, it lived up. It was a perfect follow-up, even without that. I mean, they had to develop Doctor Strange in the first one.
Right. Well, again, we've seen Doctor Strange over a couple of different movies, but I'll say this.
This one, you get to have fun. You did your homework in the first one. You had a little bit of fun.
But I think we've learned a good lesson film-wise here. We here at TTFT, we like to do film school. I think we learned a good lesson in this. If you're going, I'm really against reboots. I'm not against sequels too much, but I'm really against reboots. But with that being said, if you're going to do a sequel, let the original breathe.
Yeah.
And they did. This has been, I'm not paraphrasing. I know it's been at least 4 or 5 years. It's been at least 5 years since the first one.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing is I've said that this is self-contained enough that you don't have to know much about Marvel to enjoy it. You don't even necessarily have to see the first one to enjoy this.
I agree. Because
it sets up, like, they give you just enough explanation when something kind of, like, out of the ordinary that a newbie wouldn't understand. They give a little bit of a reference enough to know. And if you're smart enough, you could just kind of use context clues and figure out, fill in the missing blanks.
Let me ask you something
obscure. It's just so visual. Like, the visuals is something that we didn't really touch on that much. And the visuals are just so... They're just so enjoyable to watch. They're so insane.
Like the lighter over there. Let me ask you something.
I want to get into the minds of the people that develop those animation sequences. I'm just going to ask you one question,
and I'll let you go. Please answer me this. How much are we so much into the real multiverse as far as how we live in that? Me and you both grew up on Full House, and now. Somehow, some way, the Olsen bloodline is we grew up watching it, and somehow we're still discussing it at 38 years old. We watched it at 8 years old, and at 30 years old, we're still discussing it. Are they the most popular bloodline family in the world here? Like, how is this even possible?
Yeah.
Talk to me. Rest in peace. Rest in peace to Bob Saget.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
what's it
I
for?
thought
Yeah.
one of the Olsens died,
Oh.
and I didn't hear about it yet.
Yeah, the twins.
Breaking news!
Oh, and King connects us real quick. This is not a spoiler alert. Remember, I fucked you up. I said, how crazy is it that the Olsen twin younger sister has twins, boys? That's the connection right there.
And I could probably connect this to DC. Even.
Go for it.
Batman couldn't kill Joker, but one of the Olsens could. I'm just gonna leave it there because I
You
don't.
text me. So hold on.
Well, I can't remember.
Can you get away from the
I
fucking
can't
mic?
remember if it was Mary Kate or Ashley, but one of them were the last. Yeah, they were dating her friends or something, and I think she had supplied him with the medicine. Yeah. Why would she be? She's an Olsen. Make that go away. We're not even supposed to
Could
be
you
talking
send me
about
that?
that right now. Yeah, it's
That's the first time I
crazy
asked you
story.
ever asked you to send me anything that didn't involve me.
Why so serious? So what would you change about it?
One thing that I would say, and I don't give a fuck if this is a spoiler alert. And you know
Uh-oh.
what? No, I'm being honest. I don't care because I don't
After
like when
all
things are
that.
over the top, too over the top. I
Hold
know
on one second. I'm sorry. Before you get into what you would change about it, you have a way of deciding how good of a movie is based on did you get up and go pee? And I noticed that you got up and went pee.
Yeah. I'll explain that right now.
Okay.
This was the first time in my entire life as a child, adolescent, infant, and adult that it had nothing to do with the movie. Matter of fact, this movie was so good that if I didn't move in 30 seconds, I was going to piss myself. So I chose not smelling like piss in front of this entire audience. I left like 94% with the movie done, and I came back at 95%. But if you think
And
you have,
I broke the cardinal rule. I
don't give a fuck. No, let me explain. No, if you think you have a best friend, you don't, because mine decided to pull out his phone and record it. And for that, I'm going to now repay you with the last scene. You asked me to do this live. I knew this would come up.
All right.
And this is going to blow his
But you're
fucking
not,
mind.
You're not getting.
No, don't spoil it.
You're not getting off the hook as far as what you would change. You still.
I
have
will.
to-
After you see this, I will come back to what. No,
Okay.
let me say what I would change first then.
Okay.
What I would change was the fact, one thing that was very blaring to me, you mentioned CGI earlier, and I got offended by that because I kind of feel like when people say CGI, most people are talking about that 90s, early 2000s campy stuff. I know you didn't mean that, but that our audience probably would think that. But one of the things that really did bother me, like I know she was Miss Marvel and her power, like she had stars on her jacket, but every time she went through a portal, I didn't need to see that big fucking blue star. Like I didn't fucking need to see that. Like,
But that's her thing, right?
yeah, but it's not. Like,
That's like saying every time Doctor
no,
Strange.
because it's
does
a
his
fucking
little-
circle. It's a hole. Holes can be.
Well, she's well, yeah, they did kind of
Yeah,
lean
they
hard on like.
that's
she
what I
had
did.
the-
Yes,
like,
that.
nothing,
Thank
nothing
you.
wrong with any of it. She's got the LGBTQ queen.
It's a lot going on.
pin,
My
my
parents.
two moms. I'm like,
Yeah, let that ride.
and then the
Right. And here's the fucked up part about that. There's another connection. My two moms. Well, guess what? In Full House, that featured the Olsen, I thought saw three guys stand together.
Okay, little devil's advocate here. I got nothing.
All right. Well, here's the scene. Here's the scene. Here you go. And he's not going to play it later. We're not.
I don't want us to sound like bigots. Like we
We're
hate
not
the fact
fucking
that
big.
there's
Are you fucking kidding me? We
representation, but
filmed
it's just
Selma.
like,
We filmed Selma.
It's like don't do it at the expense of the character.
I'm
because
sorry.
now she feels like a bumper sticker and not a character.
He has the. This break is brought to you by.
Does that make sense?
No, it's not. It doesn't. This break is
No,
brought.
I'm saying don't turn your character into a bumper sticker. Like don't like. You can have those things, but just don't make them so apparent. Just do them as normal, like everything else. Like, don't just turn your character into a mission statement. Let them be a character, not a pedestal for whatever you want to say to the audience. Oh, we just lost a viewer.
And there you go.
Whoops.
Ew. So with that being said, I don't even know where I was about to go there. I really don't. But where were we at?
You were about to show me. Well, you were going to tell me what you would change.
I already changed the star.
Just the star.
Other than the star, the only thing I would have changed is this. I will say this, is that this is unfortunately what happens to all sequels. I'll be honest with you, and I really, really, really mean this as far as how I feel right now. And I'm usually sometimes I can be inebriated, and I'm so happy where I'm at right now versus the first Doctor Strange because I'm still maintaining here. But I want to say this. There's only one sequel that I can really think of right now that still held true to its roots as far as the nostalgia and everything like that, and that's the Equalizer.
Terminator 2.
No, yeah, that too. I'm sorry, I apologize.
Okay.
That too. Yeah, no, I take that back because that was actually better than the original.
True.
Equalizer 2 was on par with Equalizer 1, but
Okay.
you are 100% correct. Terminator 2 is probably the pinnacle of what sequels should be, and then right under that is Equalizer 2. But I'll say this: you are right.
What about
that
Ghostbusters 2?
It's right up there.
Okay.
James McDonald, you got a lot of growing to do.
That's where we go like this, but we'll circle
That's a
back
vagina
around to
somebody's
why we're
fucking.
here.
All right. So with that being said, this film, as far as it being a sequel, I agree with you that it did. I wish it would have I wish they would have let. Just really wish it would have went more on the lines of it. It had nothing to do with the zombie stuff. You're right. It was the first film did so great. I put it this way. I would have loved to see this film if there had been no Marvel films in between the first Doctor Strange and now, and it had been this many years, and they had to do it again.
Yeah.
Because now it's not fair. While Sam Raimi did direct this, I even give him more praise. You know why? Sam Raimi, guess what he had to say? Okay, last time the studio was in control, and I couldn't tell the story I wanted to, but 10, 15 years later as a filmmaker, the studio's in control, and I still can't tell the story I want, but I'm such a better filmmaker now. So I agree with you. This is
He's really not a better filmmaker. That's framing it incorrectly. I've been watching a lot of the Depp and Heard trial. I'm gonna speak like that now. Objection, hearsay.
But I thought you were just defending him.
Yeah, I am. But because you said that he's gotten better as a filmmaker, as if that was the
I'm not saying no. Okay, let me rephrase that. I'm not saying he's gotten better as a filmmaker. What I'm saying is he's learned how to say, "Oh, I'm not in control. I can still make a really good film with you pulling some of the strings."
And I just don't think him and Spider-Man were a good fit.
But it doesn't matter. He still was hamstringed here. Look at this.
True.
He was hamstringed by 20 movies before this, and said, even though you want to make your film, it still has to fit in the context of our Rubik's Cube. Yeah, it can't tell. You can't tell your own story.
I would say that he was still having to work within the confines of their Rubik's Cube.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But it was like a combo that was like made in the heavens. It was.
I think it just happened to work.
No, because they wanted to take this in the direction of having monsters.
Shane Black,
shit, right?
I think that was the guy that did New Mutants. Shane Black, I think he was the original writer, and then they scrapped it. If you go look at it after we're done with this, New Mutants was supposed to be dark like this, and they scrapped it.
Yeah, I'm just saying that the fact that they took this in the direction of having literally like monsters from different multiverses attacking, like being the antagonists in this, and merging horror and superhero films, it was
I agree.
Sam Raimi.
This may be the best ever. I'll be honest with you. I mean, we may be caught up in the moment right now.
It was a match made in heaven. That was
I will agree with that.
No, I was trying to think
a match made in hell.
It's touche. Yeah.
I will agree with that. Let me ask you this really quick here. Do not spoil the moment for these people. Let me ask you this. This is the one time that I've seen a scene. You know, what's the biggest complaint about most trailers, especially after the 80s and early 90s?
They give too much away?
No. That used to be that's our late 80s, early 90s. Later than that, you've heard this before. What I saw in the trailer, I didn't even see in the fucking film. Yeah. So we've heard that within the last 15, 20 years. But this film did something that I have not seen in a while, if I've ever seen. What we saw in the trailer that we both freaked out on our pre-review of the trailer, amped it up 10 times. We both looked at each other. You looked at me like, oh, that shit was sweet. At the end, like towards the end when we saw a certain.
Oh yeah.
We were both like, I didn't see that shit coming.
Because that was Sam Raimi excitement. That's like, oh my.
That was a lot of excitement for me.
Good dead.
Yes.
Like this is crazy.
And you didn't see it coming.
It managed to turn the zombie genre
on his head,
the superhero
on his head. Like I agree. Please speak to that because I agree. Go ahead, take it.
I mean, I don't know how I could speak to it without spoiling too much, but I mean, just take it. I can't think of. It's just one of a kind. There's nothing. I'm trying to think of something to compare it to, and there's just nothing to compare it to.
Hold
it was
on.
just
Can we give us 10? We're pretty smart. Give us 10 seconds. Just 10. Combining.
I mean, it's taking Evil Dead and putting a cape on it, and to. Like the master, arguably.
I would kind of say on a lighter note, Pacific Rim. We made monsters of our own. We got to talk about monsters.
But this was personal for me because it was so cool to get to see the guy that like made a name for himself creating movies about the undead get to uh, reinvent that concept in such a big and climactic way.
Can I ask you a question? Let me ask you this, because I want to speak to that, because I now I see what you're saying. You came from this from a super unique perspective. Not only did you not know anything about Marvel, you told me this before we went and saw the film. You were really excited about this, not because you had saw WandaVision or the first Doctor Strange or it had anything to do with the show. You were a fan of Sam Raimi. So let me ask you this. With the question leading this way, would you do what he had to do? Like what I mean by that is this. He made his own films. Do you feel like he succumbed to saying, I give in to Marvel or the big brother, or I'm going to do my film my way, but if this is how I have to break in, I'll do it?
I just feel like this was a perfect marriage where there didn't have to even be any conflict because it was a studio that wanted exactly what the director is really, really great at. And he was, as long as like what we saw, because I feel like everything in the Marvel universe is kind of pre-planned within reason, and there might be a little bit of wiggle room, like for the writer or for the director to kind of play with things here and there, kind of like improv in within a scene. As long as you get to the key points from at the start and the finish, you can kind of play with the middle a little bit. So I feel like with these movies, what you see, there's no getting around. It's what the studio wants. So if the studio wanted this, then I couldn't imagine what conflict would have arose having Sam Raimi as the director of like creative differences. Like I said, there's this man, like it has so much of his signature all over it, and it still manages to be a sequel to a film in a universe. The first one wasn't even directed by him, and they worked so well together while still feeling like a Sam Raimi film and a Marvel film at the same time.
I agree with
I'm just so impressed at how well the collaboration worked, and I'm just so happy. I watched Evil Dead when I was like 6-7 years old. I was watching that. Like that was one of my Beetlejuices. Ash and Bruce Campbell, like I like there was so much behind the scenes material about the making of it, and they did it on a shoestring with just like friends from school, and it was such a cool behind the scenes story. And
I'm gonna ask you something here.
But to see Sam Raimi like get this moment,
this probably would never happen. I'm going to ask you this, but I'm also going to ask respectfully. Take 5 seconds before you answer this. Now seeing this, because you can't unsee it. You saw Sam Raimi direct this. Who do you think would have did a better job? 5 seconds, please. Sam Raimi or John Carpenter, if they would have been given the chance to do this film?
Calculator.
Yep.
Sam Raimi.
Over John Carpenter.
Yeah, because
I request elaboration.
John Carpenter does horror through and through.
Mm-hmm.
There might be some comic relief, but it's the kind of comic relief that you're used to in horror. It's the suspenseful comic relief because you know something's around the corner. Like it's just a ingredient in the horror. Sam Raimi is effective at just exactly what we saw in this movie. The whipping of the camera, the really like immersing you into the universe, like the way he is just so he uses the camera like another stunt person, the way it flies around, and that works so well for this. And Sam Raimi understands like that the way to create the perfect balance between he can be setting you up for a suspenseful moment or dealing with really dark material and still kind of find a way to keep it light and cartoonish almost. But that's his style. Is even Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 were these bloody, gory slasher films, but they also had a Looney Tunes energy to them that kind of made you feel safe. It was just unique, and that was on this, and I think that's what made this movie work. That's why the transition was so seamless, because Marvel, even without the horror aspect of it, Marvel is known to have like that, the wittiness and the kind of campiness every now and then. Sam Raimi gets that way better than John Carpenter.
Here, hold.
So this is one of the end credit scenes.
The last credit scene.
Yes. Yeah. All right. I don't know.
Please, he's turning red. Explain. You didn't even see it.
So
go ahead.
All right. So there's 2 end credit scenes,
that's
right?
the last one.
One that we won't show because no spoilers.
Yeah, but that
one. So Bruce Campbell makes a cameo in the film in one of the universes that they end up in. He's running a pizza ball stand. I won't even explain. He's working on this. He's a street vendor, and he has an altercation with them.
Beer.
And Doctor Strange ends up kind of, what is it called? I would say possessing. He takes control over his hand. No. When Doctor Strange takes control over Bruce Campbell's hand, makes him punch himself. What is that called?
Possessing.
Okay. Doctor Strange possesses Bruce Campbell's hand and makes him punch himself, Evil Dead 2 style. And what he just showed me, when the end credits started rolling, I had to pee really bad. And I was like, end credits are just fan service for people that know the Marvel Universe well. They're probably setting up another film or whatever. I told them, I was like, I don't care about whatever they're going to play after the credits. I'm going to go take a leak, and I really want a cigarette. But now I'm really fucking mad that I didn't stay in there for that, because
I knew you were gonna be mad.
The first one, he said, set up something that he didn't even know who the character was. Said that the first one seemed like the kind of fan service that I just wasn't really concerned with. But the second one that they closed with was, it was just, you could tell Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell, old friends, having a good time on set, and they probably finished the scene, and he was like, Bruce, just, play with it. Yeah, do what you do. And Bruce did what he did, and man, so it even gets that's how you know that how significant is to, like, Bruce Campbell is to Sam Raimi, because Sam Raimi's like, hey, I've got Marvel, I'm putting Bruce Campbell, I'm ending it on Bruce Campbell.
Like, that's like a deal breaker if I can't have him in here. Like,
I guarantee it is, because he was the ref when Spider-Man fights for the first time. Bruce Campbell is not the referee, the announcer, when he's in the ridiculous outfit in Spider-Man 1.
He doesn't even call him Spider-Man. He calls him something else crazy. I remember that.
Yeah, Spider-Boy or Man-Spider.
And that's the same
something.
one with, we've never got to mention this name ever. Give me a second here. Elizabeth, just a cup of coffee. Macho Man was in the first Spider-Man with Sam Raimi.
Randy
Thunder
Savage.
something. He was like Thunder Nuts or Thunderbolts or some shit. Man! There we go. So with that being said, guys, listen, I challenge you to find another interview like this or another response like this. We've not given away any spoilers. We're literally fresh off the film. We're literally talking about, and shout out to the cape. Hashtag cape. That cape,
man, it got
cloak.
some moments in this one.
Now, I wanted more. Oh, yeah. Oh, get up, bitch.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Stop
it. Get up, bitch. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that was good.
I could watch a whole movie just with the cloak, to be honest with you.
It would work really well in a cartoon series. Like, if they did a Saturday morning, like if this were the 80s and it would have been this would have been the what the fuck is it, Slimer.
Oh yeah. Cloak, the big red cape. Instead of Clifford, the big red dog.
First, I'm gonna do what we do as a guest all the time. If you can only watch one movie for the rest of your life between the first one or the second one.
Are you talking about Doctor Strange or just Marvel?
But between the first Doctor Strange or this one.
Oh man. This one. Only because I'm such a fan of the entire universe.
I agree too, and well, I mean, one, it's for 2 reasons. For somebody it has, and somebody it hasn't. It has Sam Raimi. It has not Tilda Swinton.
Oh my fucking! Would you leave her the fuck alone? I wish you'd have put Forrest Whitaker in this, so you could have been shaking. You'd be like,
oh my god, that eye in 3D. That eye would have had to close mine. Like, oh no, where are you looking, Forrest? I'm over here. You're looking at the exit. Is there a shooter? Is this a Batman situation? Who's in the back?
Why won't you leave him alone?
Because it's so much fun.
I swear I'm going to work with him one day. And
that's my goal. Like, we'll end this show. That'll be whenever we get him on, that'll be the finale. That'll
he does the King of Scotland too, and I'm in it with bagpipes and no kilt. I'm going to tell him everything you said.
I will too. I'll make him a montage if we ever agree. If he ever agrees to come on, I'll put a montage
Listen,
together. And
you work with an icon and you're talking about an icon. I'm trying to get you to
keep saying I.
icon. So with that being said, guys, listen here.
1 through 5.
Oh no, I love it. Please direct me, and I'm not even being funny. I like the direction. Yeah, 1 through 5. Be honest with you, I'll give this. Okay, so you want me to give this just a TTFT number, or am I giving this a Marvel 1 through 5? Which one?
I mean, we're on TTFT.
We are 1 through 5. 3.8.
Wow. What do you remember? What you gave the first one?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Damn near 5.
So that gets. But you said that this one is better than. Well, not. I framed the question as which one would you like to watch for the rest of your life? Now, which one do you think is better? From a writer's standpoint, cinematography, overall pacing.
The first one.
Why?
Because while most people say I'm just here's the thing. I think we have responsibility as actors, writers, and cinematographers, and boom micers, and just extras in general. And if you're involved in the project, we have a responsibility to say the first time this character is presented in a certain medium, we have a responsibility that not only could it go, it's either A or F. It can either go really, really good or really, really bad. The first time, here's the thing. I was not a fan of Doctor Strange on the radio. I was not a fan of Doctor Strange on the comic book. I hadn't read one fucking Doctor Strange comic book or seen one Doctor Strange cartoon.
And the first one had more responsibility. It had to establish the character.
Correct.
This one just kind of got to have fun.
Right. And not only that,
which is why the first one is better, but this one is the one you'd probably want to watch more because all the homework is done.
Right. I want to watch this one more, but if you're asking me which one could I only have, it would be still the first one, because of the fact that here's the thing. Out of all the movies, I fucking love Wanda. I fucking love Wanda. The one fight that we should have saw that we've never really seen was him and Concilius. They were both.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because that's another thing. It's not something that I would change, but comparing the first one to the second one, the battle at the end of the first one, I could recite it. No, at the battle at the end of the first one.
Yes,
I love the fact that it was about him sacrificing himself not once but willing to do it for eternity. Like,
he was fine. We were just talking about the villain himself.
Yeah. I wish that he would have fought, but what I'm saying is that, like, to this day, I can tell you. I remember those moments and how I felt and how powerful it was, and it was impactful.
I've come to bargain.
We just walked out of part 2. I like the cliffhanger at the end, but I can't tell you I can't tell you what the final, like, the big boss battle was.
But without being a spoiler alert, if you didn't notice, I asked you when we were here earlier, when I showed you the first end credit scene, not the one we just saw, but the first one. I said, you don't see that dimension that just got opened up? I said, that's where he was. That's where Dormammu was. If you look at that, how that's exactly where it was. But here's the thing. Again, I want to say this to be clear. If I had to watch one just for my friends are over, it's excitement, it's playing in the background, we're having a good time, it's definitely the one I just saw because so many people can relate to it. But as a fan of film and a filmmaker and a writer and an actor, to me, it's the first one. That you have to understand, Madsen. The actor Madsen, the performance he delivered in the first one rivals what Cumberbatch did with both of these.
Yeah, I mean, I picked the second one just because of my Sam Raimi allegiance. It's just as a Sam Raimi fan.
Put it this way,
I get a Sam Raimi film.
The director for the first one couldn't have pulled off what Sam Raimi just did as far as the horror and the mixing of the genres. But Sam Raimi,
I wouldn't say couldn't.
It wouldn't have been as good. It wouldn't have been as good.
Maybe
I saw the Evil Dead in this. I saw it, and that's the beautiful part about it. And that's why I'm trying to tell you. Don't you know how many fucking anime fans? If people, you know how many anime fans are going to watch this film and go fucking crazy because they saw Marvel's What If and the zombies and them animated and then see this like, oh fucking shit, these motherfuckers just connected a TV show, a cartoon, and a movie for the first time in our lives and said, if you don't truly love art like this, you may appreciate it. But how can you fully appreciate it? And that's what I'm saying. We're sitting here talking about it now. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, listen, you think I want to watch 22 movies of every fucking series just to say I understand it? No, I don't. But I grew up in an era where I watched the X-Men cartoon on Fox. I grew up in an era where all of my older cousins and friends told me about comic books. I'm like, I'm not finna fucking read these comic books. There's nothing happening. I grew up on cartoons.
I want you to be 100% honest, even if it goes against what you want the outcome to be with this question. And this is gonna be very challenging. I'm just gonna have faith that
I'll be honest. First off, I'm always honest.
I'm gonna have faith. Fuck. I put so much drama into the preface that I forgot
take your time.
The dead air.
Feel the oppression.
Shit. Okay, so I'm trying to think of how to word this. If you had this is you are in the position right now, depending on how you answer this question, to expand the people that call themselves fans of the Marvel multiverse or not. But that's why it's going to be difficult for you to answer honestly. In comparison to would you say that all of the other Marvel films are this good on their own, that anybody can go into a Marvel movie and enjoy it like this, or is that quality unique to this particular film? The fact that you don't have to go into it with that much prior knowledge and you could still enjoy it for just a good film, or are they all just like out the gate swinging crazy good times like this?
In response to the other films, the answer is no. They're not this good. They're all Marvel. Out of the 22 Marvel films that you have to watch to enjoy this film, truly, probably maybe 2 or 3 reach that level of acting. The first Doctor Strange reaches that level of acting. I'll be honest with you. The first Guardians of Galaxy reaches that certain parts of Iron Man.
Okay.
But I will say this: the first Guardians of Galaxy reaches that level. And I'll be honest with you, too. To be honest with you, the best acting job I've seen out of any Marvel, hear me out on this, and it's crazy because that's why we're friends. The best, when you were just talking about strictly acting and blending what's happened.
Chip Zine, Howard the Duck.
No, WandaVision. WandaVision is the best mixture of acting and superheroism, and they blend. And here's the thing: they're doing TV. But if you look at every freaking opening credit scene from WandaVision, they sampled the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, Modern Family. They did The Office. They did the Laverne and Shirley show. So I'm like, wait a minute. So we went into the multiverse way before we saw this movie is what I'm trying to tell you. And that's what I'm trying to.
Kudos to the Elizabeth Olsen, because that's a lot writing.
Her.
Like Paul Bettany is great in it, but it's her character.
Scene Stiller.
What?
Stiller.
Yeah. But Elizabeth Olsen's acting chops is so important to her character, because her character, in order for you to feel anything one way or the other about her character, whether you can see why she's doing what she's doing or you just look at her as a villain, like her emotional arc with her kids,
to validate
her ability to like convey her like the desperation.
To validate your point from 45 minutes ago, I saw her and I didn't say, "Oh, that's Mary Kate's and Ashley's sister." But when I saw that other person that we won't mention, I did say, "Hey, that's such and such from such and such." I promise you, I said that, and that's me as a Marvel fan.
I won't spoil anything.
You're about to.
No, I'll just say the moment, like the weakness that they find in her that's just like, it came so unexpected in a horror movie to defeat the big baddie. Without, again, I guess, fuck it. This kind of did go back to, I take everything that I said about the ending of this.
Look at the camera and say it.
I take everything back because they did
so you are changing the ending now.
They did it again with this one. He won using his intellect. Like, he flipped the shit. It wasn't fireworks and explosions. There was a lot of that. But at the end of the day, he broke her spirit. And, like, at the end, like,
you know why?
Because she's so powerful, the only one that can defeat her is herself. So you have to get
now
in
you
her
see
head.
what I was saying. How many conversations
Okay,
have we had
all
at night?
right,
And I called
all
you and I
right.
said, you were like, isn't Doctor Strange the strongest? I said, yeah, he's the strongest Avenger, all this other stuff. I said, but he's not the Sorcerer Supreme. But with that being said, what you just said, without spoiling this, like you just said, the Sorcerer Supreme would never defeat anybody physically.
And and she rationalizes out loud, like, I would never hurt anybody, and that she really.
But what really
but
scared her
because-
without giving it away? We saw what scared her.
Oh yeah,
Those two
yeah,
things scared her.
yeah.
They were like, don't hurt me. And we were like, oh shit, that's
that broke her. Yeah, and the fact that like
Now, here's what, no, hear me out. You watched WandaVision. That broke her. So now when you go back and rewatch WandaVision, you start looking at it like, wait a minute, was that her or was that?
yeah, that's crazy. That's fucking crazy. And had an actress played that role that didn't have the acting chops to convey
it
those
fucked it
emotions.
all up. It felt choppy.
Yeah, it would have felt forced.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I
really believe that she believes that she's
My
wouldn't
point is
hurt
this.
anybody.
And I want to say this respectfully. I think Brie Larson did an adequate job as Captain Marvel. Not in this movie, but in general, like the movie she played. My point is this: is as good as Brie Larson is, it takes an exceptional actress, and this is only speaking to the brilliance of Elizabeth Olsen, because it's not like you have to grow up and want to be an actress, meaning that you've seen a billion actresses before you be great. You're your two twin sisters are the shit. And most people say, bro, she had a plug into the industry. Okay, you can say that, but me and you know the industry. How many other people, how many other great siblings, great actors had siblings that we never fucking heard of?
It's just
she
crazy
is surpassed her siblings.
I mean, easily. Like,
Easily.
The Olsen twins were never known to be fantastic.
In fairness, the both of them we thought was one person.
Yeah, but they were like, I mean, the height of their fame was just getting lines fed to them, and they could say anything, and it would be cute and get the alls. Like they were just more famous.
I'm not gonna lie to you, but you got it, dude. Guys, okay, so we're not done yet. Okay, so we gave how many fucks?
I give it a 5. Just because
I'm looking at you how you looked at me at French Dispatch.
I'm thinking of the rewatch value. How happy it made me to.
I think you're giving it a 5 for that guy that stepped out of that chair. When you saw him stand up, you were like, "It's possible." I was falling and I can't get up.
Are you talking about, sir?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sir,
No, it's mainly because I was gonna give it a 4, 4.5, but then thinking about the ending,
I
how
want you
it
to
even
understand that you're giving this a higher rating than French Dispatch.
No, I gave French Dispatch a 5.
You did give it a 5. You gave it a 5. Okay.
And they both made me very happy. I'm so happy for Sam Raimi that he nailed this.
Agreed. I'm happy for Sam Raimi that from the fact that I apologize because again I was in my adolescence as a filmmaker, not an actor, but as a filmmaker when I judged him for saying, because I realized what I thought about a director is the same thing everybody else has thought about it. When I tell people I've directed stuff, they look at me as if like, okay, you had something to do with it. But if you tell somebody you're a producer or an actor in it, they look at you as if you had everything else. So I'm like, so let me get straight. Me as an educated person, I know that director really has the biggest risk and the biggest reward when it comes to a film, but people look at the producers as if they make everything happen, especially the executive producer. Let me help you guys out really quick. 10 seconds of film knowledge. Executive producer puts all the money behind it. Director has the most pains and groans. He never really appreciates everything. The actors and actresses on set all day, probably they get paid a lot, but when you look at the hours they put in, it's not as much as you think.
Whether they're there or not, from what we hear from a lot of our guests.
Oh, there you go.
As long as you got good representation.
All right, guys. So listen, we're about to get ready to wrap this up. So we've already done how many fucks we've given. Let me ask you this. We've already done Scene Stealer, which is Elizabeth Olsen. Honorable mention.
Oh, wait. No, Scene Stealer. I mean, Elizabeth Olsen was great, but.
You just said that.
Yeah, she was great, but she wouldn't be my Scene Stealer.
I asked you, and you said Elizabeth Olsen.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like the Scene Stealer of
who's your Scene Stealer? Give me one honorable mention first.
Bruce Campbell. Just because how happy it made me.
That's the best callback. That's probably the best callback of this season. Well, not this season, but this is one of the best callbacks ever.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. Like, yeah, I'm gonna put you in 3D, Bruce. Wang, what the hell? The Sorcerer Supreme.
I'm doing that speed thing where I'm not really moving, but the tape footage real quick so they won't sue me. Yeah, I will give you that. I'll listen.
He was good. I mean, Elizabeth Olsen is awesome, but my scene stealer is just it has to be Benedict Cumberbatch because
First off, Benjamin Cumberbatch.
That's what
And
I keep
which
saying,
one? Which one?
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Which one?
That's what I'm saying.
And fuck you for saying that because you know it's my fucking best friend. Even if you really believe that, I wish this was a real episode, or because you know what I said last time. Why was I pissed off last time at the first one?
Because of his voice. And you were pissed off at the trailer because you heard his voiceover in the trailer, and you're like, why is this motherfucker taking my work?
So if I was pissed off at his voice, how many variants did I see of him in this film?
That's how I judge something like that by like.
Who the fuck do you think is he Eddie? He's not Eddie Murphy.
But if you could play 2 or 3 different people in the same movie, and I feel like I'm watching 2 or 3 different characters, even though they're all like different versions of Doctor Strange, he did it so subtly and effectively. Like it was all the different versions of him were.
Did I not play a psychopath for you?
Yeah.
Did not a variant of me
Why
play
do you,
the? Whoa! Did not a variant of me play the actual real killer? That I made.
Whoa! This is a no spoiler review.
I'm not saying anything. I'm talking about kill. I'm talking about
kill. This doesn't mean you can go and spoil our movie
because I didn't know we were going to enter friend zone tonight. Like I'm trying to understand.
I don't understand why I can't compliment somebody else without you know how I feel about Michael B. Jordan.
I feel way worse about that.
I can appreciate somebody else's acting and still appreciate your.
No,
acting.
you can't because we were filming Selma and you told me something I never thought you'd say, and that's what got me mad about Voldemort about that film. Because I know you think you've seen real acting before, but you haven't. I've made you laugh the entire time you know me in your life. I've never made you cry, and you know what? I'm not doing it right now.
I know where you're going with that.
You don't because you've not seen the film.
And I've seen the trailer.
But
after I made those comments,
that's
and I
not
apologized.
the fucking trailer.
But I saw enough to know that I was legitimately surprised. Because you are right. I did not think. Not that I didn't think. I just didn't. I just didn't think to think.
All right. So with that being said, let me ask you this: if there's another Marvel film you'll see after this, other than Doctor Strange, what's one other character you would see other than him? Tony Stark's not coming back.
If they brought Edward Norton back as the Hulk in a multiverse version of that,
I agree with you. I love that.
I can't.
Out of all the Hulks, is he the best actor?
Flash Marvel?
No, he's DC. You know what's fucked up about it? I'm glad you brought it up. Algorithm here, 10 seconds, 60 seconds. The guy that actually plays the Flash in DC has been arrested 3 times in Hawaii. Meanwhile, Mr. Roy, who's one of the greatest actors of all time, who lives off Moncrief in Duval County, Florida, has never been arrested. Yes, he doesn't have a movie deal. Go figure that out. I must be in the fucking multiverse.
And you finished first in driver's ed, so you're good at going fast. As people saw on our live stream on IG earlier this afternoon.
Thank you. Days of fucking Thunder.
Yeah.
Highway to the danger zone. So with that being said, which Marvel film are you going to watch next?
What are my options? I don't know what.
To be honest with you, I honestly think you should really just watch the Disney Plus series Loki, the second season of Loki coming up next.
Is
Tom Hiddleston?
No, is Scarlet Witch getting her own film?
We don't know yet. Technically, this was not Doctor Strange 2. This was basically WandaVision meets Doctor Strange.
I really like the Scarlet Witch WandaVision character, or Wanda
Maximoff. Yes. You remember who her brother was? Who was her brother?
I don't remember.
You do, because you mentioned Quicksilver and Pietro.
I don't know. Sorry.
Okay.
Vision. If he had
Paul Bettany,
his own film, I really like.
He's not going to get it, but remember, we still haven't. We thought 75% of the people who were blurs and nerds thought that we were going to see. Damn it, I can't say it. Put it this way: we're still looking for White Vision. I request elaboration. That Vision. Yeah, that one. Yes.
So I'll end it on what I really loved. I think most about this movie, aside from the obvious, the fact that all the Sam Raimi signatures.
By the way, good job at not spoiling a lot of this. You kind of spoiled like 3%, but that's great for you.
Okay, thank you. The first one was like, if the first one was a visual hand job, this one was a visual blow job and swallow.
That is the perfect way to describe it.
Because they both get you off.
Oh, they both do.
This one is just like eyes crossed, rolling in the back of your head.
One is like, okay, are you drinking wine or are you drinking liquor?
Yeah, I mean,
This is
oh
liquor.
My God,
The
like
first one was wine.
it's just so visually stunning, and I
Oh,
love
yeah.
like the fact the way they toy with physics.
Put it this
and
way,
just
the first
things are floating and the
what I
beach
told
is
you
in
for the
wrong
first
place.
film actually really applied to this film.
It's just so imaginative. Like,
No, you know what I'm talking about? What I told you don't do
Oh,
for the
yeah,
first film,
yeah.
it should be applied to this film. Fuck the
especially
first
not
film.
in 3D.
We didn't even fucking know.
That was insane.
That fucking blew. Where are the glasses?
It was absolutely insane. Yeah, let's end this like we began it.
Yes, let's put these on. Just for a second here, and I'm going to end this the right way. There we go.
How is that? I can.
I just did it real quick. It's fine.
Okay.
All right, so guys, we're getting ready to end this, but I do want to say this. So what you have here is, listen, all jokes aside, for season 4 of what we're doing is Attack on the Algorithm, ATA, and what we want you guys to understand is that we truly are fans of film. We truly appreciate what we do, and we want you to appreciate it too. We have no real sponsors. We have nobody behind us. We are filmmakers, we're actors, we're artists, and we put our work behind us. Most people will tell you to subscribe. What I'm going to do is something that most people will never do. How about you unsubscribe?
What? Wait, what?
Yeah, unsubscribe. Because apparently it doesn't fucking matter. We've asked you to subscribe for years, and only a few people come on. So maybe we're going to do hashtag unsubscribe, and maybe if you unsubscribe, YouTube will be like, wait a minute, they're losing people. We need them. Because now we're in recommendations. Now we are YouTube paid partner. We have patrons. We're doing everything people said we couldn't do within 1 year. So, and these people have been doing it for years. So imagine what we do for 2 years, 3 years. And by the way, Entertainment Tonight, eat your fucking heart out. We have more guests than you've had.
Oh, and new rock stars. Congratulations coming in with our sloppy seconds on the review of Doctor Strange 2.
And guess what? We're not hating. We're only saying that because we actually reached out to you guys on your Instagram and we DM'd you saying, hey, can we just like really reach out? And you guys are fucking awesome. I really like what.
Oh, in all honesty, New Rockstars is one of the inspirations for doing this.
It really
we
was.
looked at what they were doing. We were watching
Right.
them. Like, you know what? We could do that.
Correct. Because what did we see? We saw one person that was a host and like 4 or 5 people really putting the show together. And then we like, that's like 5 people. But then we looked at me and you
So
and
the
said,
person that we're hearing that's talking to us, what they're saying isn't really their thoughts and feelings and words.
not at all.
Yeah.
So we have one of the best actors in the world, one of the best editors in the world, and 2 of the best hosts in the world.
We should change the name of our show to the New Rockstars.
Oh, we've been rock stars. G14 classified. So with that being said, everybody listen.
Oh, next Thursday.
Motherfucker.
See, this is weird. See, we're in the multiverse now because right now this is technically season 4, but next week we're going to take you back in time to season 3 with the finale.
Del Presidente, Cinco de Mayo. Dead Presidents next Thursday. And when I tell you we're going to blow your freaking mind, guys, listen,
with,
honestly.
Special guest Monty Sharp plays the police
Officer Brown. No racism intended.
In the pivotal scene.
Yes. Dave, I just want to tell you, man, hey, listen, it's been a pleasure, man, doing these doing our first 3 seasons, doing these full episodes. And I really want people to understand that they say friendship and business don't mix, but we really challenge that algorithm and say fuck them. Because you know what? Usually you shouldn't do business with your friend because if the business doesn't work, your friendship like fucks up. But we respect our craft so much and each other so much that we hold each other accountable. There's been times where I fucked up. There's been times where you've been down, and we're usually the people that pick each other up. So what we're trying to tell you guys, just keep fucking working. Believe in who you believe in. Hey, man, I love you, brother. It's been a hell of a fucking first 3 seasons.
And I give Marvel a lot of shit, but I have to say, I haven't seen a Marvel film yet that has let me down or a series.
That's because I've been recommending them. If you go to the Thors, you will bore.
Actually, Captain America.
No, not Civil War. Not the first Avenger. Before the Russo brothers.
The first Captain America.
That was not the Russo brothers. James McDonald, back me up.
I'm sorry. Whatever the first one was, it made me take it.
He likes the first Ghostbusters, so I can't ask him to back me up anymore. With that being said, guys, Mr. Royal, Mr. Polanski, G14, TTFT, DD5AIUID.
Hey. Almost. It was like 99.9.
Well, I'll take that.
You threw in an extra. You got all the letters.
I can throw in an extra D. That's what she said.
Usually you.
I usually do.
Oh shit. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Kind of live, not as live as this. Thanks for watching. Tell your friends. Put this. Do me a favor. Just if you've made it this point, just copy the link. Hit share. Copy the link. Go and share it on your social media. Help us get out there a little bit if you can.
Hashtag before we go, Baby Groot. I'm not gonna lie, he wasn't in the film, but fuck it, I like Baby
Oh,
Groot.
let's end it on this. Who's your dream cameo in a Marvel film?
As far as what?
Any Marvel film, who would you, what like actor that you've grown up with or that you love now would you like to
Not
see?
character, but
or
actor.
not even a cameo, just what actor would you like to see join the Marvel multiverse?
Other than me, clearly. Let me. I'll be honest with you. I'll answer that.
I'm already gonna get my wish apparently.
I already know well, she's already there. Let me see.
No, not Lupita.
I definitely thought you meant Lupita.
I don't want Lupita in the multiverse. I want her in.
Actually, I think it's already really happened. To be honest with you,
in my bed.
it's already happened in the first Black Panther film, and it wasn't Michael B. Jordan, and it wasn't the lead character. It was Michael B. Jordan's dad. I don't know why his name is.
You're talking about the dude from This Is Us and
no, not This Is Us. No, ER. Or
yeah.
He him. But if I can say anyone that hasn't done it, I would honestly say anyone. To be honest with you, who deserves it, Lakeith Stanfield.
From the Black Klansman.
And Atlanta, and I'm gonna tell you why.
And the remake of your Unmade film. Sorry to interrupt.
That's cute. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say my name. Yeah, don't say that name of the film.
I mean, you throw out Handy Quack every chance you get.
I do, but they don't know about that one yet. But yes, you're correct. And the reason why I say that is that again, just he's a great freaking actor, man, and I really appreciate what he does. He doesn't conform. And again, when I saw him in Snow, and it blew my fucking mind, man. It was just kind of like, dude, how the fuck are you in NWA and Snow? You're in Niggas with Attitude, and you're in Snowing. These are like North Pole, South Regency, Golf Fair meets the Palisades 90210, but you're still comfortable in both. Now, is he better than me? On his best day, he's close. But I have to respect Lakeith Stanfield. Go ahead.
I'm getting my wish with Bill Murray, apparently, which you know any details?
No, all I know is he's going to be an Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania.
Oh, man, Bill Murray.
He's going to be a small Bill Murray.
Bill Murray
Mini Murray.
Paul Rudd.
Mini Murray.
Yeah.
Hashtag Mini Murray.
He'll probably fucking play himself. They'll probably, like, when they say that Bill Murray's joining the Marvel Universe, it's literally Bill Murray. And everything that comes with him. But since I already got that, I would say I think it would be really fun to see Steven Seagal join as a villain and revitalize his career.
I just can't see him as a villain or hero. He'd be like one statue.
Have you seen Machete?
With my guy.
Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo. I love Danny Trejo.
Villain.
Well, he's only played villains.
When directed right.
Yeah, no, he's also in that movie Dawn of the Dead with Quentin Tarantino. From Dusk Till Dawn.
Really?
Yeah, he's one of the vampires that turned evil.
I don't think so. I'm going to call you out on that.
Pull it up now. We're live. Pull it up and then apologize to me online. Danny Trejo from Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh, Danny Trejo. Yeah, I thought you were talking. No, I thought you were talking about Steven Seagal. Steven Seagal was not.
He hasn't been anything in 25 fucking years. What the fuck are you talking about?
All right, let's end it on. Let's end it on this. We'll flip it. The ending of this will be the beginning of our experience there. The trailers.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, first of all, the point that I made was I think it's ironic that we're watching movies that are coming out, yet 90% of them were properties that are pre-existing. Like
what that means is there's no original ideas anymore.
There are original ideas. They're just not being
given a chance.
Not being used.
Correct.
Because Hollywood's lost its balls. You got to go to the streaming services.
I mean, I just feel like here's the thing. Even with that being said, what did we see? One of the movies we liked tonight that was not a remake, so we thought was Bullet Train. But then on the ride home, I was like, this is not Speed on a Train?
Yeah.
It fucked with me.
But yeah, Bullet Train, the new Brad Pitt movie.
You mean
like
the new
It looked like John Wick on a train.
The same character. I was going to just say no Speed. It looked like Keanu Reeves on a bus.
Same skills, more personality.
Or it looked like the movie I told everybody that was actually really good. They took 10 seconds from a movie we said that was really good. Everybody hated and made a full movie out of it. Did we not just see Keanu Reeves that we just said in Speed that he was on that train that was in the new Matrix? We don't use phones anymore.
I mean, Speed ends up on a train at the end of it,
and the head gets cut off.
Yeah. The other one
is. Hashtag Medusa.
Why?
Scarlet Witch.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The Fresno.
Yeah.
The Fresca in the wall. You seriously know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking
Okay,
about.
okay, cool.
Fuck, what was I gonna say?
I don't know.
Oh, Nope. That was that looked badass.
Oh, that was
One thing
original.
I hate though is that like I miss back in the day when before the internet, like you would only get the 30-second trailers that they put on TV, and then you'd have to go to the theater to see the theatrical
real
trailer. But
yeah.
I'd seen all those trailers already on YouTube because
Correct.
they drop them the same day there. It was cool to see Jurassic Park on the big screen.
Oh, it was.
Even though that's and I heard somebody in front, the talkie bunch.
You mean the Broke Neck crew?
The popcorn people, yeah. I heard him like he's like he knows what's up. He like leans to his girl. He's like, "This is the last one." I'm like, no,
it's not. It's really
that's
not.
marketing, buddy. They're making you feel like it is.
Oh, no.
It'll never be the last
This is the last
one.
one with Sam Neill. But
It'll be the
Chris
last one
Chris Pratt will be around for years.
If it tanks, it'll be the
and it
last
won't,
one.
and
But
it won't,
yeah,
and it won't.
It's a passing of the torch. They've already confirmed that.
Here's the
it's
sad
not
part
gonna
about
be
this.
That it's not the end of the
I
franchise.
think the most accurate description of real film.
It's a closing of a chapter, not the end of the franchise.
I think the most accurate description of real film goers were the genre of our parents, and what I mean by that is they were the last genre to experience a majority of original ideas.
Going to the talkies.
No, I'm just saying like a majority. Like imagine seeing a slasher.
Yeah.
Like the genres were being born during their era. There's no genres being born during our era.
Yeah, and the 60s and 70s were like intentionally experimental just to see what they could do. And they had this new technology to play with.
Mm-hmm.
That was the heyday for like indie filmmakers to really try things, and they were just throwing shit at the wall.
With that being said, guys, listen, this is TTFT. We're giving you there are a lot of people watching this right now. Listen, guys, we've done everything we can to attack the algorithm. At this point, there's no turning back. We're going to give you guys one more fucking season, and the segments are going to be dedicated to the algorithm. So here's the thing. We're asking for everyone that's ever done a YouTube show, everyone that's ever made a self-making album, self-making independent film, self-making Vine, self-making YouTube channel that's been fucking deserted for fucking years. We are you. All we're asking you is to support us doing season fucking 4. Not what we're doing, but attacking the fucking algorithm. We're gonna give this.
How do you attack the algorithm?
That's what we're trying to do.
It's about engagement. You could support us monetarily. That's great. Patreon.com TTFT show. But really, what's gonna help us in our end goal of why we started this whole thing is liking, sharing, commenting, just engagement that tells YouTube, hey, these people are putting
in the work,
eyes in front of our commercials. No, fuck that. They don't care about putting in the work. YouTube's like, these people are putting eyes that are engaged in front of ads that we can play. If you guys can just help us show YouTube that we can have an audience that, and sharing also helps to expand that audience, because YouTube is not putting us in front of new eyes. So if you're watching this now, it like we share it and we appreciate if you share it. It honestly means more coming from you than it comes from us.
Here's the thing. Don't make an ass of us. Make an ad of us.
And
that's the fucking trailer.
We're not getting complacent either. We're going into season 4 changing everything up because, like...
Name the segments. Homie, don't play that. You, me. Story time with Dave. Keep going.
High five. We're high five. Devil's advocate. We're going to take the worst rated films, the worst canceled people, and try to find redeemable qualities about them. We're going to do He Made Me Do It, where I make him watch a movie and he reviews it, or he makes me watch a movie. So we switching things up, because up until now we've only done movies that we've both seen and loved or are excited about coming out. So he's probably going to make me watch Pixels, which I hate. So that'll be a very interesting review to watch.
But there's one more segment that we've not talked about that I want to bring up in front of you live right now. It's called #ChallengeUs. We invite any person or any YouTube channel out there who think we're frauds, who think we don't make films, no films, or love films. We will do one live segment a month starting season 4. We invite you to challenge us to your own film quiz about films we've done, films we've reviewed, or films you've watched that we should know about, and we will see how we grade out.
Oh, that way, because we can't rely on audience engagement. Another segment that we're doing next season is Pop Quiz Hot Shot, where you and I both go on and pick a random movie quiz online and
that we know
give it to
nothing
ourselves
about.
Yet no studying or anything like that beforehand. We find it while we're shooting and take it
Well,
live.
we're gonna kill it because there's only one reason why I know that. There's been one person that's ever defeated me in the game, seen it, and he's sitting right next to me.
We're going to do retro reviews where we go back and look at our favorite movies from the 80s. We'll do more live streams like this where we go and watch a new movie that comes out.
I'm
going to
be doing Jurassic Park and Thor. What are you doing?
I'll be doing Jurassic Park with you. You're doing
Oh,
Thor.
we're doing Jurassic Park. I'm doing Thor. What are you? You and your brother did the Nicolas Cage film.
Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yes. So
Yeah, we're
oh, I'm sorry. And then what is the highlight of season 4? Really, to be honest with you, we already know. Rest in peace. Rest in Black Heaven, or rest in what's my boss? Black Panther 2.
Oh shit,
that's going to be the high,
yeah.
and we're not saying that just because it's Black Panther 2. If you don't know, we started our show season 1 with the first episode was the Killmonger incident, Black Panther.
Yeah,
we look so different now.
I mean, we literally have grown and expanded.
A lot of money, a lot of editing, a lot of time.
Now, if we could just get a lot of audience and a lot of views.
How the fuck do we get the guests before the money? Usually the money comes and then we get all these guests. How the fuck do we skip the money and get to the guests?
Based on what every guest says, because we kick ass.
We've interviewed people who've worked with Samuel Jackson.
Steven Spielberg.
We almost had our guy from Three Amigos. He didn't have a book thing.
David McGiffert, who is every film, Rain Man, Vanilla Sky.
Where do we
Back
go
to the Future.
from here?
David Wayne. Speaking of David McGiffert, also coming next season, David McGiffert has a book that's in the process of being published about all of his anecdotes from his history of working in Hollywood, and we're going to be having a conversation with him called Stories with David once every month to every other month, going through some of those stories from productions that he worked on.
Speaking of every month or every other month, every month we'll be doing Porn with Pressman.
It does sound like porn. I hear it now. Porn with Pressman.
I told you.
Which is very appropriate for him.
It is, because somebody's going to get so late on that set. All right, guys, listen, it's been a great time. Listen, we started this earlier. Al Pal. Listen, guys, we really enjoyed this. Thank you so much listen, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter that he doesn't know Marvel like I do, because guess what? He's putting me on something that I love, starting to love, which is Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And what that means is that we both are fans of great entertainment. And if you're a fan of entertainment, you should be a fan of this show. So from TTFT to the entire greatest audience on YouTube Earth, we appreciate you. Go see Doctor Strange 2. But before you do that, hit that subscribe button. And by the way, JMCD, Ghostbusters 2 is still better than Ghostbusters 1. Bitch.
Good night, everybody.